Good evening and welcome back. Tonight, we're diving into the fascinating world of Greek mythology. As always, let me know where in the world you're listening from. Get cozy, settle in, and let's begin. In the beginning, there was no Olympus, no earth, no sea, no sky. There was only chaos. And chaos was not the kind of chaos modern tongues describe. Disorder, confusion, frenzy. It was older than language itself. Chaos was a yawning void, a gaping nothingness without form or direction. It was not evil, nor good, nor even neutral. It simply was. From that ancient nothing came the first stirrings of existence. Gaia, the earth vast and unshaking. Tartarus, the abyss beneath the earth, dark and dreadful. And Os, the force of love and desire, the binding agent of all future creation. These were not gods as we think of them, not yet, but elemental truths given form. Then came Nyx the night, clothed in a shadow so thick even chaos recoiled. She was followed by Erebus, the darkness of the underworld, who would dwell beside her in that early silence. From a union of night and darkness came Ether, the pure upper air breathed by the gods, and Hera, the day, who from beginning was fated to chase her mother endlessly across the sky. Thus, the cycle of night and day was born not through science, but through myth, through a family of strange, invisible titans who lit and dimmed the sky with each passing hour. Gaia, the earth herself, did not lie idle. She was patient and fertile, and from her own body she brought forth Uranus, the sky vast and star-strewn. He was both her son and her consort, and when he arched over her, stretching across the heavens, the world found its first shape, a domed sky above a broad and endless plain. Gaia also birthed the mountains, tall and wild, and Pontus, the sea, who surged with a will of his own before ships or sea monsters ever touched his waters. Together, earth and sky became the first great pair, and their union brought forth the Titans, the first generation of powerful beings who would rule the cosmos long before Zeus and his kin rose to power. There were 12 Titans in all, 6 sons and 6 daughters, each vast and elemental in their own right. Oyanes, the encircling river. Hyperion, the lord of light. Kois, the inquirer, 'cause the constellation bearer. Iapetus, the ancestor of men, and Cronus, youngest and most cunning. Among the daughters, Thea, shining mother of the sun and moon. Rhea, future mother of gods. Thais, embodiment of divine law. Mnemosyne, the memory of all things. Phoebe, the radiant one. And Tethys, the nourishing sea. But Gaia's womb was not finished with them. She bore monstrous children as well, beings of strength and dread. First came the Cyclopes, Brontes, Steropopes, and Argus, each with a single eye burning like a forge in the center of their brow. They were the smiths of lightning, strong and simple, and they feared no god nor giant. Then came the Hecatonchires, the 100-handed ones, each of them enormous and terrible to behold, with 50 heads and 100 arms each. capable of stirring the very foundation of the world when enraged. Uranus, though lord of the sky, trembled at the sight of these monstrous offspring. Ashamed and frightened by their grotesque strength, he forced them back into Gaia's womb, the depths of earth itself, and sealed them there, hidden away beneath layers of rock and grief. Gaia groaned beneath their weight. The earth, once proud and nurturing, now suffered with every breath. It was in this pain that she began to scheme. But that is a story for another day. For now, remember this. In the oldest age, before law or justice, before sword or plow, the world was made not with hands, but with force and union and grief. Chaos birthed the first forms, but it was Gaia, the great mother, who gave them ground to stand upon. The union of Gaia and Uranus, earth and sky, was the first great marriage of the cosmos. It was not a marriage of altars or witnesses, but of necessity and nature. The sky stretched over the earth, holding her tightly, pressing her beneath his star-stewed body night after night. From their joining came the Titans and other mighty offspring, but also a deep and growing sorrow. For Uranus, though proud and vast, was a jealous and fearful father. He saw in the monstrous children Gaia bore not strength, but a threat to his dominion. He looked upon the Cyclopes and the 100-handed giants with revulsion, not wonder, and with swift, cruel judgment. He thrust them back into Gaia's womb, deep into the belly of the earth, where no light reached and no voice could echo. Gaia groaned beneath their weight. It was not only the agony of bearing them within her again, but a betrayal of her consort, a sky, who should have cherished their children as she did. Night after night, Uranus descended upon her, pressing down the heavens to meet the earth, blind to her pain and deaf to her grief. She could endure no longer, and so from her own flesh she fashioned a weapon, not of bronze or iron, for such things had not yet been dreamed, but a great sickle of unyielding flint, jagged as truth and sharp as vengeance. Then she went to her Titan sons, the firstborn and mightiest among her children, and laid bare her suffering. "Your father has wronged me," she said. "He has caged your brothers. He has silenced the womb that bore you. Who among you will aid me?" One by one they turn away, fearful of their father's might. Only Cronus, the youngest, the shrewdest, the one with watchful eyes and a patient heart, stepped forward. "I will do it," he said. "Give me the blade." So Gaia set the trap. She waited for Uranus to descend as he always did, laying himself across her in the dark. And from the shadows, Cronus sprang. With a steady hand and no hesitation, he brought the sickle down upon his father. The sky shook with Uranus's cry as the blade bit deep, severing the source of his power. Cronus cast the bloodied flesh into the sea, and from the crimson foam that rose upon the waves, something new was born, a figure of impossible beauty, terrible and irresistible in equal measure. From that white froth came Aphrodite, goddess of love and desire, who would later cause kings to fall and empires to burn. She stepped ashore at Cyprus, radiant and serene, untouched by the violence of her origin. But Gaia's vengeance did not end with blood. From the droplets that fell upon the earth sprang other beings, the Furies cloaked in shadow and vengeance, who would haunt oath breakers and kinslayers until the end of days. The giants who in time would rise up against the gods themselves and the Melior, nymphs of the ash trees, guardians of the wild and the old ways. Uranus, wounded and dethroned, vanished into the heavens, leaving the world to his children. Before he fled, it is said he spoke a final curse, one that would ring through time like a bell. Just as I was overthrown by my son, so too shall he be overthrown by his own. It was not a prophecy he invented, but a truth Gaia had already whispered, and Cronus heard it well. He took the sky throne and wrapped himself in power. But from the moment he grasped it, he began to fear what his father had warned. Thus ended the reign of Uranus, the first king of the cosmos, and began the age of the Titans. Yet already in the womb of time, the next storm was stirring. With Uranus cast down and the sky no longer pressed so tightly upon the earth, the world breathed anew. And radiant, bearer of prophecy and song, Artemis, his twin, swift and wild, mistress of the hunt, Hermes, quick-witted and silver-tongued, messenger of the gods, and Aphrodite, born of the sea's foam, weaving love and longing to the hearts of all. Together, they formed the Olympian court, a family both divine and flawed, bound by power and torn by rivalries yet to unfold. The earth below, though shared, was not silent. Mortals had begun to stir, their voices rising like the first whispers of dawn. From the clay of the earth and the breath of the gods, they had been shaped, fragile yet curious, destined to build and destroy in equal measure. Prometheus, the Titan who had sided with Zeus, took pity on these new beings. He saw them shivering in the cold, huddling against the night, and resolved to give them a gift, against the will of Zeus, who sought to keep mortals humble. Prometheus stole fire from the heavens. He carried it down in a hollow reed, its glow a secret pulse against the dark, and delivered it to humankind. With fire came warmth, light, and the spark of invention, tools, hearts, and dreams of more. Zeus, enraged by this defiance, punished Prometheus with a fate as old as the mountains. He was bound to a rock on the edge of the world, where each day an eagle tore his liver, only for it to regrow each night, a cycle of agony without end. Yet Prometheus endured, his silence a testament to the gift he had given. Mortals, meanwhile, flourished. They learned to forge metal, to weave cloth, and to raise altars to the gods who watched from above. But with fire came hubris, and with hubris came the wrath of Olympus. The age of the gods was not one of peace but of balance, a delicate thread stretched between creation and chaos. Zeus from his throne cast his gaze across the realms, his eagle soaring to bring him news. Poseidon's trident stirred the seas, sending waves to crash against the shores where mortals built their first villages. Hades, in his shadowed kingdom, welcomed the first souls, guiding them with a hand both firm and fair. The earth, Gaia's gift, bore witness to all, her mountains standing tall, her rivers carving paths through stone, her forests whispering with nymphs and spirits. Yet beneath this order, tensions brewed. The Titans, though imprisoned, were not forgotten. Their voices echoed faintly from Tartarus, a reminder of the power that had once ruled. Among the Olympians, too, discord grew. Hera, Zeus' sister and queen, watched her husband with eyes that saw too much. His wanderings, his dalliances with nymphs, mortals, and even rivers stirred her jealousy, a fire that would one day burn bright. Athena, born from Zeus's head in a blaze of wisdom and war, stood apart, her gaze fixed on strategy and justice. Apollo and Artemis, twins of light and wildness, roamed the earth, their arrows striking true. Hermes darted between worlds, his laughter a trickster's charm, and Aphrodite, with her beauty, wove destinies that mortals could neither resist nor escape. The first great tale of this new age began with a mortal named Epimetheus, brother to Prometheus, who had not fought in the Titanomachy, but had chosen wisdom over war. To him was given the task of populating the earth with creatures. He crafted beasts of the field and birds of the air, endowing them with strength, speed, and cunning. But when it came time to create humankind, he found his gifts had been spent. Prometheus, ever the caretaker, stepped in, shaping mortals from clay and breathing life into them with a stolen spark. Yet Epimetheus, in his haste, had left one gift unclaimed, a woman, Pandora, crafted by the gods themselves. Pandora was no ordinary mortal. Her beauty was a gift from Aphrodite, her skill from Athena, her voice from the Muses. Zeus, still bitter over fire, gave her a jar, some say a box, and warned her never to open it. Curious and kind, she was sent to Epimetheus as a bride. For a time, they lived in harmony, the earth yielding its bounty, the sky clear above. But the jar called to her, its silence a riddle she could not unravel. One day, unable to resist, she lifted the lid. Out flew plagues and sorrows, disease, envy, strife, and death, spreading across the world like shadow. Only hope remained, trapped at the bottom, a fragile light in the darkness. Mortals, now burdened, learned to endure, their lives a dance between joy and suffering. This act set the stage for the myths to come. The gods, watching from Olympus, saw their creation struggle and thrive. Zeus decreed that mortals must offer sacrifices to appease the divine, a ritual born of fire and smoke. From these offerings, the gods drew strength, their power tied to the faith of those below. Yet not all mortals bowed willingly. Some, like the hero Heracles, would rise to challenge the divine order, their deeds echoing through time. Heracles, born of Zeus and a mortal woman named Alcmene, was a child of prophecy. Hera, furious at her husband's infidelity, sought to destroy him. She sent snakes to his cradle, but the infant Heracles strangled him with his bare hands, a sign of the strength to come. As he grew, his life was marked by labor and loss. Hera's wrath drove him to madness, leading him to slay his own family. In penance, he was tasked with 12 labors by Eurystheus, a king bound to Hera's will. These trials, slaying the Nemean lion, capturing the Erymanthean boar, fetching the golden apples of the Hesperides, tested his might and cunning. With each victory, he grew closer to gods, his name a song on mortal lips. Meanwhile, the seas churned under Poseidon's rule. He raised storms to sink ships and calmed waters to favor heroes. From his realm came tales of adventure. Odysseus, lost for years, battling Poseidon's wrath after blinding his son. The Cyclops Polyphemus, the underworld, too, whispered stories. Hades welcomed Persephone, daughter of Demeter, after she was abducted by his will. Her mother's grief brought winter to the earth, a season of mourning until a compromise was struck. Persephone would spend part of the year below, part above, weaving the cycle of growth and decay. The gods' influence extended to every corner of the world. Apollo's oracle at Delphi spoke truths veiled in riddles, guiding kings and warriors. Artemis guarded the wild, her arrows striking those who defiled her sacred groves. Hermes, with his winged sandals, carried messages and mischief, stealing Apollo's cattle as a child and laughing as he bartered peace. Aphrodite's love sparked wars, most famously the Trojan War, when Paris of Troy chose her over Hera and Athena, awarding her the golden apple inscribed to the fairest. This slight ignited a conflict that would reshape the mortal world. The Trojan War began with a marriage, Peleus and Thetis, a mortal and a sea nymph, where Eris, goddess of discord, was not invited. In revenge, she tossed the apple into the feast, sparking rivalry among the goddesses. Paris's judgment led to Helen's abduction, and soon Greek kings sailed to Troy, led by Agamemnon. For 10 years, they besieged the city, their tale sung by Homer, Achilles swift and proud, slaying Hector. Odysseus, devising the wooden horse that breached Troy's walls. The war ended in fire and ruin, a testament to divine meddling and mortal pride. Yet even as Troy fell, new stories rose. The Argonauts, led by Jason, sought the Golden Fleece, aided by Hera and hindered by her rival. Medea's love turning to betrayal. Theseus ventured into the labyrinth to slay the Minotaur, guided by Ariadne's thread. Oedipus unraveled a prophecy by solving the Sphinx's riddle, only to fulfill it in tragedy. Each tale wove the fabric of Greek myth, a tapestry of heroism and hubris under the watchful eyes of the gods. As centuries passed, the Olympians' power waxed and waned with mortal belief. Temples rose, Parthenon to Athena, Delos to Apollo, carved from marble and gold. Festivals honor the gods, their statues gazing over processions. But mortals, too, began to question. Philosophers like Socrates and Plato sought reason beyond myth, their words challenging the divine order. The gods, eternal yet not unchanging, adapted, their stories evolving with each retelling. In the quiet of night, As the stars wheeled above, these tales lingered. Gaia's earth slept, her mountains dreaming of titans, her rivers murmuring of heroes. The sky, Zeus's domain, shimmered with constellations, Orion the hunter, Andromeda the chained princess, each a memory etched in light. Poseidon seas whispered of lost ships, Hades' underworld hummed with shades, and from Olympus the gods watched, their voices soft as the wind, guiding dreamers into the next chapter of an endless story. So close your eyes now, listener, wherever you are, beneath the southern stars or the northern lights. Let the night wrap you in its ancient embrace. The world of Greece, born from chaos, shaped by gods and mortals, waits in your dreams. Sleep and let the myths carry you onward